All right, I'm going to call committee PM to order. I'll remind all of our council committee of any, please disclose of any pecuniary interests at the appropriate time. We will go to 4A, which is information reports. We could bundle A and B if we have a motion. Moved by Councillor Arnold, seconded by Councillor Broad. All in favor? Or any discussion? Sorry, thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Stark.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. With respect to B, I believe that deals, and I'm trying to get to the right page here, that deals with Gowland Manor, is that correct? So when I went through that report, and I know that it's received much publicity, and the report indicates that in fact the reporting has been less than complete with respect to what in fact occurred. My question is, have we investigated? I know that we've instituted a badge system where photographs would be shown or displayed. My question is, do we have, or have we ever investigated some kind of an entry control system, whether it be an armband or where the digital records are kept of who's entering? And obviously, if you're not in possession of one of these armbands, entry would be denied. What I'm looking for is I think we need to have a more complete, comprehensive admittance into the homes, and I'd like to understand what we're doing there.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
So we do have swipe cards for the staff, and it does keep a record of who's where and what doors they've swiped through. We also do have cameras at every entrance, and as a result of this incident, we watched hours and hours of videotape. The person was in the building a total of 7 hours over the 3 days, and so we watched video from different cameras for that time period. We did, the ministry did, HR department did. You'll remember in the fall, Councillor Bird received some complaints about us being too restrictive, involving the police, issuing orders of trespass. And in fact, my last report, last council meeting, indicated 3 incidents of abuse by visitors. 2 of those incidents were related to an individual who we had issued an order of trespass to, but it had since been lifted. It's always a very difficult balance because 126 people live in the home and many of them receive many visitors. It is our expectation that visitors sign in and out so that we know who's in the building. But to issue swipe cards to people we don't really even know would be, I think, an administrative nightmare and perhaps not safe. What we've chosen to do is to provide more training with the staff about keeping an eye who's in the building, because often visitors will come in, go directly to a resident's room and then leave, and that's absolutely appropriate. So someone might not see them come in and out. If we look at our sign-in books, there are many days where we have dozens of visitors. So it's difficult to keep track. We've started asking people for identification who are vendors or providing services in the home, but how we restrict visitors will have an impact on the residents and their family members. So we are definitely looking at that. We do a risk management exercise each year, And we've also done that with the police on occasion. They come in and look at the home and see how could we make it more secure, partly for workplace safety, but also for home safety. So we've enhanced security, but like I said, it's a home to 126 people, so the balance is difficult. Long-winded answer, I apologize.
Councillor Start.
Thank you. I appreciate that it's a difficult balancing act between recognizing that it's a home, but also recognizing that it's a healthcare facility at the same time. I'm more concerned, and obviously given that, highlighting the fact that this particular individual that made access was a former volunteer. Did that former volunteer use their previous access codes? How did they get past this?
The person came into the home and reported to a specific resident neighborhood and reported to the registered staff on that home. So they came into the home in the evening when there was nobody at the front desk. The doors were not locked yet, so the front door has a code that that's posted for people to get in and out. And to be perfectly honest, that door is the way it is more to keep people in than it is to keep people out. He came in the building like any visitor, went upstairs and introduced himself to the registered staff that was working in that area.
I'm still not convinced that enough oversight is being administered to avoid a situation like this. I recognize the difficulty of the balancing between the needs of the residents versus the oversight as it relates to their care and their security. I just think that we need to be, when I read that there was administration of medications, albeit under the direction of a supervisor, who knows what could have been the outcome of those, and that's the concern that I share. And I'm not suggesting that I have any answers, but I'm telling you that the public is concerned. Thank you.
Councillor Cook.
Thank you. Doug, I'm just saying, I'm not saying this, we're hoping this is a one-off, that this person maybe had an issue that they wanted to become a volunteer, or they wanted to become Florence Nightingale, be in there trying to help out. They've gone through their training, they've gone through a volunteer program, maybe just felt the need, whatever it was, to be back in there again doing it, authorized or unauthorized. So again, I'd like to think that this is a one-off incident. Staff should know who they are working with when they come in, the volunteers or whatever. Maybe they felt comfortable knowing this person because they maybe had dealt with him in the past, not knowing that he wasn't an authorized person until after the fact. But I believe now that the protocols are in place to know who's there, I give staff credit for upping their security measures, and I think that this should be, I would hope, just said like a one-off issue, and it shouldn't happen in the.
Councillor Boucher.
Did this a person alone, could he go can he have an access to medicine by himself? Did he have an access
Mrs.
to the
Jones.
medicine?
No, he did not. It requires the nurse who's working in that area has a key and a swipe and keys to the medication cart, and also electronic login to the documentation. So without that nurse with him, he would not have been able to get access to that. No, I don't believe so. We have lots of locks. The narcotics are counted every shift. The narcotics are in a separate box on the medication cart that is also double locked. So I don't believe so.
I know this is a public meeting, but was he normal person? I mean, was he off a little bit, or I mean, was he?
You, Chair.
Yes.
I have not met the person, so I can't say, but certainly the staff felt comfortable with him being there initially.
How many nurses were involved? I mean, knew him. How many people did know him? Just the two.
Warden Weber.
Yeah, this issue has been, I believe, dealt with by the ministry. They've come out, they've looked at the situation, and I think staff have put things in place. It's unfortunate that it happened. The individual was thought he was helping. So I guess the end of the story with this is it has had that no one was harmed. It's been addressed. The security issues have been addressed. The protocols are now in place. So I believe this commend staff for putting things in place and acting as quickly as they had. And we have to put our faith that the investigation that was carried out through the ministry, the change orders, have all been put in place, and I think this issue is done.
Thank you. I don't see any other comments, so we will take a vote on receiving and filing these reports. All in favor? That's carried. There's nothing from Corporate Services Division today, so we'll move on to 6A and B, which are information reports for the Finance Facilities and Court Services Division. Moved by Councillor Broad, seconded by Councillor Cook. Any questions or comments on those reports? Councillor Stark, please.
On page 10, there's a reference to fine revenues are down 66%. And since I'm new to this committee, I'm interested in understanding what percentage of the revenue is retained by the county.
Can you specify which report you're talking about, please?
Yes, it's with respect to fines, page 10. New fines ordered. The value of fines imposed in the fourth quarter of 2016 decreased by $145,000 compared to the same quarter in 2018. Overall, the value of fines were 66% lower in 2018, meaning that all 2019 fines went from $3,123,000 to $2,073,000.
Who speaks to this? Stefan? Yeah, please.
I'm relatively new on this section as well, so I'll try my best as far as the fine revenues. The fine revenues, these are new fines ordered. Generally speaking, our fines, our revenue is down. As far as the exact percentage, I don't have that information in front of me today, but I certainly can get that for the councillor.
Isn't concerning the revenue. The revenue is reported, the percentage is reported, and I have no problem with the report as written. My question is what part of the revenue do we retain?
Again, the exact percentage, I don't have the exact, it's the majority of the revenue we definitely retain, is retained.
Any other questions or comments regarding those reports? Seeing none. Oh, sorry. Councillor Loosely?
Through you, Madam Chair, I think, could we maybe get that information? I would like to know exactly what that percentage is. To say we get most of it, I'd like to know, is it 60/40, 70/30? Thank you.
And we can see that in the next committee meeting then? Thank you. Councillor Stark.
Well, that has direct ramifications to the budget. So if we could have it for the budget session, that would be appreciated.
We can definitely have it for the budget session as well.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried. And we'll move on to reports requiring a motion. There's a report dated February 19th, 2020 regarding the Treasurer's statutory report on funding of non-cash expenses included in the 2020 budget. Moved by Councillor Arnold, seconded by Warden Weber. Questions or comments on that report? Councillor Arnold.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That motion is to receive the report as well as the recommendation.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's carried. There's no other business, so we'll move on to Social Services Division. A, B, and C. Actually, we have quite a few information reports. Do we want to bundle those or? All right, Councillor Cook? Thank you. Seconded by Deputy Warden Marriott. Any questions or comments on those reports? Councillor Arnold.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first one in regards to the housing stats. It says the average number of applicants on the wait list for rental assistance has increased from 374 to 526. Are those all people from Lambton County? I guess that's my question.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'm actually going to call on our Manager of Housing Services to answer that since she's here with us.
Yep, come on up.
Good morning. Through you, Madam Chair. The majority of the applicants would be from the County of Lambton. However, there are others from outside of our area as well. I don't have a percentage that I could give you right now. It's something that I could look into. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions concerning those reports? Councillor Stark?
Yes, also in Housing Services, page 24, there's a comment in section B, and it relates to trying to balance, well, the comments are trying to balance the needs of the overall county with vis-a-vis the housing requirements and the mandate that we have to provide social housing versus funding of Blue Water Hospital. Can you identify the priority that is indicated in section B, where it says the redirection of $600,000 in levy taxation resulting from Ontario social health benefits upload in 2016, 17, and 18, increasing to a total of $1.8 million annually by 2018, how that has affected the operation of the county with respect to providing social housing?
Through you.
Yes, please.
So this is a motion that came in 2015, and it was to take a look at the capital asset plan for social housing. These are the units that are owned by the county. So in order to do the upgrades and fix those and keep them in good condition, we had said we needed approximately $40 million, and council had approved $4 million over 10 years. What item B is showing you is where the dollars were coming from. I understand that at that time, we were giving, through the county, $1.5 million to Blue Water, and that had ended. So those dollars were redirected, as well as the other dollars listed. So the upload from social services, from Ontario Works, and then a little bit from the amortization. So that's how we get the $4 million every year, and we're heading into year 5 of the 10-year capital plan. So that's just outlining that.
Councillor Stark.
Then the follow-up is fast forward to the 2020 budget, which we are going to debate. What impact would it have if we were to approve the $1 million per year for 10 years? Would that have any, for Blue Water Health, would that have any negative impact on your funding going forward?
Through you, Madam Chair. I might let Larry speak to this a little bit more. However, what I'd like to say is, in the 2020 budget, we have the $4 million. It's in there every year for 10 years, including 2020. So the request from Blue Water would be on top of this. These are redirected dollars that go every year to social housing. So it's a new request from Blue Water. And I'll turn to my colleagues if they want to add anything.
As far as the Blue Water Health Foundation request, it's a new request. It'd be on top of the levy that was presented this morning.
So the point is that the $1.5 million that previously was committed to Blue Water Health and essentially redirected, that commitment, obviously through the 10 years, will continue. But on top of that, we're now going to add potentially add another $1 million, as I think you just explained. Thank you.
I think that's confirmed, correct?
I believe the $1.5 million annually to the hospital expired a few years ago, and that was replaced or redirected to Lambton College's capital funding program. And I think for the budget meeting, the question leads us to believe that we should give you a bit of a cheat sheet as to what major capital funds we've granted, or this council has granted over the last 10 years to who, especially in the healthcare sector, and when they expire, so that you know moving forward from 2020 on what those commitments are long-term, if there are any.
Okay, we will expect that for the budget meeting then, okay? Councillor Arnold?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just on the same report, and I was going through all the repairs and all those good things getting done. I was just wondering, it says unit interiors for 15 units is essentially $100,000 a unit. That's only for carpet and maybe a new kitchen, and that seems very rich. It'd be kind of neat to go around and see one of these before somebody moves in and we get a chance to see what they're doing. Because, you know, at $100,000 a unit, that used to be what we could build them for not that long ago in an apartment building. So I think that's awful dear.
Do you want to respond to that? Yes, please.
Oh, there we go. The unit interiors actually is a complete gut of the unit. They are gutted right to the studs, new insulation, new wiring, new everything. It really is a rebuild of the units. We did offer a tour of county councillors at the end of November, and we're happy to take you through at any time if you'd like to see the work that's done on them.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments regarding those reports? Seeing none. One more. Councillor Arnold. All the reports, yes. Yes.
People aware that that is available, Madam Chair, out in the community, because I know lots of folks that would qualify, and I know none of them know about this. So I know word of mouth helps, but you know, that 47,000 net, that's affects a lot of people in Lambton County, and we do have quite a bit of money left over there.
Through you, Madam Chair. We actually will be starting a very aggressive marketing campaign. We're hoping to use the county website as well as our social media, Twitter, Facebook. We're also starting a campaign within our childcare centers. We'll be making sure they have all the information, following through with that through Ontario Works, through their caseload, as well as our Circles program, which we've actually already started and had quite an uptake through the Circles program. Also, we'll have information available through all of our social housing units, and we'll be working closely with the libraries as well to get information out. And hopefully, as I've said, right now, 32% of the eligible children in Lambton County are using the program. We're hoping to get up to 80%. So it's a very aggressive target, and we'll be doing a lot of information. We have brought some information. It'll be available on the back table for you to take with you, and we're happy to provide any additional information and pamphlets and things to you as well.
Warden Weber?
Thanks. I'd like to just comment on Report F, the Ontario Works program, and I'd like to hear some comments. It's great to see a 4.4% decline in the Ontario Works program, and do you see that continuing, or are we? Is there reasons for that? And to me, it's a good news story. There is jobs out there for people, and if they are able to work. So, is there any comments? I'd like to a bit of an update on the Ontario Works update.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you for that. And you're right, a decline in social service caseload is very good news. It's something we should be celebrating. I think the Ontario Works team has taken a really good look at the employment programs. The economy is very strong right now. Unemployment rate's one of the lowest that it's been in Lambton County for years, and certainly they were taking advantage of that. We restructured slightly the Ontario Works area and included a program supervisor with more of a focus on employment. They took a really good look at all of the programs that they are doing and tried to do some targeted programming. For example, we have a special program that we work with ECEs with Lambton College. So we have people in receipt of Ontario Works who are now attending Lambton College and working with their Children's Services program, and they'll go right into jobs. We're hoping to do a similar type program with PSW this year. As you know, we have a bit of a shortage there. They've also have a new resource center at the Lambton Share that's just opened last week. They did a soft launch. You'll be hearing more information about that. It's for people to come in and have assistance with their resumes, job search, things like that. If you look at the statistics, you're right, we've done very well. There are 4 outcomes that the province measures from Ontario Works, and 3 out of the 4, we exceeded the provincial average, and the percentage of caseload exiting to employment, we're actually double the provincial average. And while 2.59% doesn't look like a lot, if you look at that on the caseload every month, it's almost 1,000 individuals exiting to employment. So that's really great news for us, and we do hope that we can continue on with that with our increased focus on employment.
Thank you, Warden Weber, for highlighting that good news story. Councillor Arnold.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just maybe more of a comment than anything else is when I read through around the social indicator or the economic trend, the social indicators, all that stuff, it talked about a lack of housing in general. And, you know, we're still building all the time, and yet I've seen other reports that our population is decreasing. How can we be building all these units, houses, multi-res, and all the rest, and yet our population is decreasing, and we not have a surplus of places for people to live? That's the first question. And then, if we're in a spot where we don't have places for people to live, why would we be out actively recruiting people to come to live here? Like, you know, you can't have it both ways unless you're going to spend a bunch of money to fix it, or you have people that are making investments. So I get confused at the message that I'm receiving, that in one hand, we don't have enough housing, and yet we're building all kinds of stuff. If you go back through our stats, and yet our population, we're told, is decreasing, so we need to bring all these people in, and yet we don't have any place to put them if they do show up. So I really struggle around some of the things I read and have been told over the last few years.
Any of our staff want to tackle that one? It's a good question. It is, yeah. But you're right, it is a good good observation there. Any other questions or comments concerning those reports? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried. And we'll move on to B, reports requiring a motion. The report dated February 19th, 2020 regarding Canada-Ontario housing benefit. Moved by Councillor Loosely, seconded by Deputy Warden Marriott. Any questions or comments about that motion? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. There's no other business, so we will need a motion to move in camera to receive a report on labor negotiations between the Corporation of the County of Lambton and the SEIU Local 1 pursuant to Sections 239 of the Municipal Act 2001, and to receive a report, seek instructions, and formulate a response to negotiations with the third party for fiber network connections within Lambton County in accordance with Section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001. Moved by Councillor Loosely, seconded by Councillor Stark. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, so we just need a motion to adjourn. We're going to report that in open session during council. Moved by Councillor Stark, seconded by Councillor Loosely. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you.